Continuing with Brett Allen Winter's Declaration of 76, United States Constitution of Common Lawyer Comments, clause by clause, pages 66 to 71. Section 3, Clause 3. No person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 30 years and been 9 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state for which he shall be chosen. Comment. To become a member of the Senate, the candidate must be 30 years old, have been a citizen of the United States for 9 years, and shall at the time of his election live in the state that has chosen him. Our Constitution has no other qualifications beyond these three. Therefore, a candidate can run for Senate in one state while residing in another, but the Senate cannot lawfully seat that senator elect unless, when elected, he lives in the state that chose him. The minimum age for a senator, being 5 years older than a representative, is to ensure a more cautious mind and wariness to act. Simply put, the representative's younger age will incline him to the majority's pressing passions. The older age of a senator will incline him to long rumination. In addition, each representative faces re-election every 2 years, further subjecting him to the voters' passions, whereas the senator faces re-election only every 6 years, affording him longer-ranged focus. Section 3, Clause 4. The Vice President of the United States shall be President of the Senate, but shall have no vote unless they be equally divided. Comment. By admitting states into the Union so as to maintain at any given time an even number of states, Congress can keep the Vice President from using his powerful tie-breaking Senate vote. The executive offices, Vice President, powerful check by veto on the legislative office, Senate. Though the Vice President is the official President of the Senate, he rarely presides except on special occasions. Section 3, Clause 5. The Senate shall choose their other officers, and also a President pro tempore in the absence of the Vice President, or when he shall exercise the office of President of the United States. Comment. The phrase President pro tempore means President for the time being, that is, in the absence of the real President of the Senate, which is the Vice President of the United States. The President pro tempore of the Senate is third in line of succession to the office of President, after the Speaker of the House of Representatives, which is after the Vice President. Section 3, Clause 6. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside, and no President shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. Comment. By the letters, impeachment means to catch another by the foot. Thus, by impeaching an office holder, the House of Representatives catches and holds him for the Senate, which will then try him for the wrongs the House of Representatives articles of impeachment charge. Section 3, Clause 7. Judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal from office and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. But the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. Comment. If the Senate convicts the one impeached, our Constitution allows his removal from office and forever barring him from holding any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. This clause limits to our courts alone the power to impose any other punishment, as long as it is according to law, i.e., according to the course of the common law, law being an abbreviation for our common law, which both Magna Carta and our Constitution call the law of the land. Note well, conviction does not require a 2/3 vote of the entire Senate, but a 2/3 concurrence of senators present, even if any present refuses to vote. See above, Article Section 3, Clause 6. Section 4, Clause 1. The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. But the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations except as to the places of choosing senators. Comment. Each state decides when to hold its primary elections. Consequently, state primaries for national offices range from winter through the late summer months, the general election for national offices being held the following November. Section 4, Clause 2. The Congress shall assemble at least once in every year. Comment. Using force, English priests and kings had at times kept Parliament from meeting for long spells. For instance, Cardinal Wolsey had gathered so much power he once kept Parliament from meeting for 7 years. Thus, this clause requires Congress to meet at least once a year. The framers worried that Congress would never meet and would try to delegate all its powers to the president. Nowadays, we worry that Congress meets too often, passing laws too much. See this handbook, U.S. Declaration of 76, Section 7, and comment. And such meetings shall be on the first Monday in December. Comment. Amendment 20 modifies the foregoing clause, changing the date of the opening of the Congress's session to 3 January, unless Congress by law sets another date, unless they shall by law appoint a different day. Comment. This is a default provision. If Congress never appoints a day of meeting at their adjournment, this clause still requires Congress to meet each year. See this handbook, U.S. Declaration of 76, Section 7, and comment. In fact, the law French word adjourn is short for to appoint a day. Thus, it is said that to adjourn without appointing a day of meeting delivers death, as it were, to the body of the men assembled. If, however, Congress at adjournment fails to set a day of meeting again, this clause 2 precludes the death of that body of men assembled, because Congress always has a future appointed day of meeting, the first Monday in December. Section 5, Clause 1. Each House shall be the judge of the elections, returns, and qualifications of its own members, and a majority of each shall constitute a quorum to do business. But a smaller number may adjourn from day to day and may be authorized to compel the attendance of absent members in such manner and under such penalties as such house may provide. Neither house may do business until at least a majority of that house's members are present to vote. Comment. If a candidate disputes an election result to fill a seat in either House of Congress, Senate, or House of Representatives, that house will determine the winner of its seat. Further, each house is the sole judge of whether or not any of its members meet our Constitution's qualifications. In acting on motions to oust a member, however, either House of Congress may consider any matter bearing on that member's fitness for office. Further, discussion and debate can go on whether or not a quorum is present, so long as a quorum is present for the final vote on the matter. Section 5, Clause 2. Each House may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and with the concurrence of 2/3, expel a member. Comment. Each House makes its own rules. For instance, the House of Representatives puts strict time limits on debate to speed up business. On the other hand, the Senate's rules make it harder to end a debate. A senator may speak as long as he wishes unless the Senate votes for cloture, a motion to end debate. On most matters, cloture requires a vote of 60 senators, or 3/5 of the total Senate membership. Either house can oust a member by a 2/3 majority vote. Section 5, Clause 3. Each house shall keep a journal of its proceedings, and from time to time publish the same, excepting such parts as may, in their judgment, require secrecy. And the yeas and nays of the members of either house on any question shall, at the desire of 1/5 of those present, be entered on the journal. Comment. Following each session of Congress, each house publishes its own journal, listing all the bills and resolutions considered during the session, as well as votes taken. Messages from the President to Congress are also included. Of more importance, however, Congress publishes the Congressional Record daily and includes word-for-word transcripts of its debates. In practice, however, Congress sometimes fails to record matters hard to justify. For instance, in 1998, the Senate seated a federal district judge in central Illinois without holding the required up or down vote, leaving a blank space in the record. Section 5, Clause 4. Neither House, during the session of Congress, shall, without the consent of the other, adjourn for more than 3 days, nor to any other place than that in which the two houses shall be sitting. Comment. Though Congress sits in two different houses, each with its distinct purpose, this provision bars either house from boycotting or shunning a proposal of the other without giving it due consideration. Accordingly, this clause forbids either house from leaving a session of Congress for over 3 days unless the other house consents. See this handbook, U.S. Declaration of 76, Section 7, and comment.